Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I'm Gav. This is Keith. This is Emmett. This is Shawnee. This is the Sunday night show, and you're all very welcome. The transfer window closed last Monday. We've had a chance for the dust to settle on that, and straight away they threw us into international break, and we've all been watching that. Florian Wirtz is kicking the ball in the net from really far out, from what we've heard, and Gravenberch has had a nice little rest. But first thing I want to talk about this tonight is where we all feel everyone stands after this transfer window, because when the window opened, the course was like, let's see who people get in, a couple of league games, and you're like, oh, a bit ropey, and then you're like, look, yeah, but they might sign a couple. So that's where I want to start, how we feel the transfer window went, and where we feel we are going into the next block of games before inevitably another international break will come. Keith, I'll start with you. We always thought it was going to be a big summer. It turned out that way, probably bigger than we thought, to be fair. We've won our first 3 league games. We've been okay in them, unconvincing at times, but okay. We're the only team in the league with 3 wins from 3. We've added Alexander Isak. Unfortunately, the Gueye deal fell through at the last minute. But overall, Keith, putting from the start of the window to where we were to where we are now in terms of squad, how happy are you with how the summer went, and how do you feel we can push on from here?
Oh yeah, delighted. I mean, it's pretty much a 10 out of 10 transfer window. To bring in to smash the British record twice, it's something we didn't think Liverpool would maybe do. To go out and get the caliber of player that they did in Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak is probably something we didn't think they would do. We thought Liverpool were there or thereabouts for Caicedo. People were sceptical of that, thinking it was some sort of PR stunt that they went in claiming they had money, blah, blah, blah. Liverpool have obviously got money there to spend, but they were waiting on the right players. And to get in Wirtz, who, look, hasn't started great. Anybody writing him off is a bit of a cabbage, but he scores a cracker there tonight for Germany. He will get better. He looked better in the Arsenal game as the game went on. Like, we're going to see the good stuff from him soon. And to get Isak is just, they're probably the best available striker on the market, and we got him. And everybody was looking for strikers. It's not like it was only us. They all looking for strikers in England, and we got the best of the best. So, look, on paper, it's winning the transfer window hands down by 100 points, but winning the transfer window doesn't mean anything, and it's something we say all the time. You have to translate that onto the pitch. Will Liverpool translate that onto the pitch with these signings? I think they will. I just can't see how Isak doesn't score a shitload for Liverpool. I can't see how Wirtz doesn't come in and start dominating games for Liverpool. I can't see how um, the likes of Frimpong and Kirkes don't settle in well at Liverpool. So it's all looking good. Guehi, we all wanted Guehi at the end of it. There's nothing they could do. Palace fucked her up, in the sense that they just didn't have anyone they could get in the door. We had it with Newcastle all along, and they eventually got people in, and then Palace done it on the last day. Who do you blame on that? Glasner's the one who put the kibosh on it, but you can't blame him. It's his captain and the centre back. We're about 20 minutes left in the transfer window, and they can't get anybody in the door. So
Well, the
he
owner
would have
was
just
off
been the
doing the
cherry
spinning
on the top.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Steve Parish is that kind of guy, but
then surely Glasner needs to go and sign a contract now, because his contract runs out next summer. He hasn't even committed to the club.
Exactly, so he's taking a lot of the power there to demand that he stays, because it benefits him in the short term. It benefits him. He can be out the gap whenever he wants. There's jobs in Germany that'll be there that will come up that he can jump on, and without a second thought for Crystal Palace's owners or their players. So there's a whole loyalty thing in football that can go one way or the other. But look, I think if they had got Guehi, it would have been the ultimate transfer window. They didn't get him. We just have to say, right, the centre back situation, Konate was excellent against Arsenal, and I think that sort of not silenced a lot of his critics, but it was the Konate we're used to seeing rather than the one we've been seeing for the first couple of games, and in fairness, the run in last season. So if Konate can stay fit and can stay involved, if Gomez can be enable deputy, who knows if this bleeding giant Italian lad Leone can come in and do bits as well. We should be able to get through maybe till January and go back in for Guehi. But apart from that, like, we've done some great gear, and it'll be after the international break when we should start seeing a more cohesive and coherent Liverpool.
Um, when you go into these transfer windows, no matter what position you finish, whether you get a Champions League spot, or you finish outside the Champions League spot, or you win a title, whatever it might be, what you look for in your transfer window is to come out of the other side of it stronger. You look to be stronger, more equipped in all of the areas if possible, and I think Liverpool have done that. It would have. We've seen transfer windows in the past where Liverpool, we've signed 5, and you kind of go, yeah, but let's be honest, 2 of them are playing. 3 of them are just going to be there as numbers when you put your Champions League squad in. But we are stronger, Emma, for this transfer window. We just are. When you look at the players that have left, and you look at the players that have come in, and the way the squad is shaped, we're the champions. But I think we've basically said to everyone else, we're champions, but listen, watch this, because we're not just content on being in contention for titles. We want to go and win as many as we possibly can, because that's what Liverpool have said this summer. There's no getting away from it.
Yeah, I don't want to do any disservice to the players that have left, because, let's say even like Nunes has done these bits and pieces for us. Elliot has done bits and pieces at a time for us. Other players that have gone, Diaz obviously as well. But I think what we've strengthened in players that Slot seems to will trust.
Yeah.
Last year he didn't seem to trust the players. Yeah, he didn't seem to trust the players that we have, and now he's gone and he's got players that you feel he can trust. We've always spoken on here about when the starting 11 comes out. We went through a long periods of time with Klopp where you kind of knew what the strongest starting 11 was, and there was times that maybe if someone was out, you'd kind of question the person that was stepping in for them. And maybe that was the case last season as well in certain positions. I think now we're really, really well equipped going into this season, where you're going to look to see, you're going to be like, it doesn't really matter who starts where, I don't think. Bar maybe, and I know we've said this before, Van Dijk, Salah, Alisson. Anyone else, I think the deputies for them are just probably as strong. Not probably something that we could have said in the past few seasons. So I think Salah has it in his mind that he wants to go and win the lot. I'm not saying that he'll do it this season, but the strength and the players that he's actually bringing in, they all could easily be starters in the starting 11 when you look at it. And I think that's what he sees, that we came up a little bit short. I think Shawnee has said it a few times, around about that League Cup final Paris Saint-Germain game. That's where it showed massively that he didn't trust players to rotate enough. We came up short in the League Cup final, and PSG absolutely battered us from pillar to post. Buffer and Alisson masterclass. So I think he's putting himself in a position now where, and again, I think it might have been Shawnee that said, you have to remember, it's almost 100 minutes per game now, and you're going to play nearly 60 games a season if you stay in with a shout on everything. You can easily look at that team and say, right, today you're going to do 60. This fella's going to come on and do the last 40, 35, 40. The next week, he's going to do the first 60. You're going to do the last 30, 40, or whatever. 5 substitutes. I'd probably see 4 of those being used in the midfield and forward nearly every game, and then maybe hold one back if we need to bring on one in defence or bring on an extra defender. But I think he's going strong, and he's going to go and try and go deep in everything this season. He's had a season now to see what it takes. He decided last season, obviously, what he had didn't have what it takes, and now he's gone and built a side that he thinks will have what it takes to go deep in all of the competitions. That's my point of view, and he's got previous for this. I think when he was at Feyenoord, I think somebody said that he got rid of 12, 13 players or something in his first window, and brought in a load. So he's doing the same thing again here, and I think we're far stronger than we were this time last year, in depth as well as in our starting 11.
Yeah, like the players that leave. As Mo Salah pointed out during the week, they helped Liverpool become champions. But when you look at some of them that have left, and look at it from the manager's point of view, he used them sparingly, I think is fair to say. So I think when you see these players coming in, they're his signings. And they're signings where you go, he's fucking starting. He's starting. And it's not like you know, if you sign a left back for 10 million, you're like, okay, he's working on a budget here and he mightn't get games, but every one of them are, as we've said all summer, win now footballers, and they have to come in and they have to play. And like, the only thing really, the big thing for me is at the minute people are going, where does Ekitike play now? And I'm kind of going, who fucking cares? Do you know what I mean? Fellas come in and scored 3 goals in 4 games. He's flying. He might go out left, he might do 60, he might do 30. Who fucking cares? Because last season we were kind of going, well, if he doesn't play, who's going to score? He's not scoring, he's not doing this. These guys are all doing it, and they'll be all killing each other to do it. And like you said, 100 minutes a game, there's loads of time for people to play. Shawnee, you were there last weekend. People missed you. They were asking where you were now. Where's Shawnee? You were at the game, and you know, you were very honest in it, and you said, look, they weren't very good in the first half, couldn't string many passes together. Your big takeaway from it was, and I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth here, was the difference between Arsenal and, say, a City and their pomp. City would have actually went for their throats, and they didn't. And Liverpool found their way into it. But from you watching that game last week, could you see, you know, how we're still finding our way with certain players and certain patterns and defensive lines, wherever it might be? And then you're sitting there going, and Isaac is coming into this as well. Could you? Because I think the big talking point of it all has been when we lost Ekitike from the middle, our focal point is gone. It's not gone anymore, Shawnee, because the focal point's just arrived.
Yeah, and look, them big games are always cagey, regardless of the big up. I think maybe before the game, Arsenal probably thought he was smelling blood a little bit, but after a half an hour into that game, I was thinking to myself, like, we're not under any really danger here, unless they do something from a set piece. And like, that's kind of becoming a meme now at the moment. But like, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, and look, to what you see on the telly is not too dissimilar to what you see when you're sitting in the stand, to be honest with you. There's small details, but I just felt there was moments in the game last week where every pass we played was behind the player who was trying to receive the ball. The first touch was sloppy. We turned the ball over a lot in midfield. I think defensively we looked quite solid, to be honest with you, for the whole 90. I don't think we looked really troubled in that aspect, especially from open play. But I just felt like in midfield, Liverpool was very, very, very sloppy. Weren't making anything stick. And just thinking back to the time where, when you're up against that Pep side, you go in at half time there thinking, oh Jesus, I'm lucky to go in there at 0-0. And you just now see you come out of traps 100 mile an hour in the second half and really go for it. Maybe make a couple of change or switch it up a little bit. But they never did. And I think it's just kind of compound. And I haven't been overly impressed by the business that Arsenal have done this summer. To be honest with you, for the money spent, I don't think that squad is dramatically being enhanced. Wherever about Party, I won't say wherever about Party, but look, he has his off the field issues, but what he was as a footballer was a very effective one for Arsenal, and I felt he gave them a lot of steel in the middle. Whereas I actually think he looked a little bit lightweight on Sunday in the middle, and it tells because Zubimendi, who they were all going on about, is a bit crabby for me, and he's weak and gives away the free kick in the edge of the box. I didn't see anything from Arsenal there to say that they're going to be much different from next year, except for I think they have allowed more hope in a fella up front scoring goals too. I don't see it with it all. In terms of Liverpool, you're seeing we've seen it since the start of the season. Look, we all watched the same game. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to be pretentious and say that I'm taking more from the games from other people, but what you can kind of gather is that although not being great, we know how to win games. I just think it's a trait that you can't really put a price on it with the characters we have on the side. And he's won games off the bench with lads who many others wouldn't fancy. Like, if Chiesa coming on against Bournemouth, and you had Carragher in commentary saying, well, what's he doing bringing him on? He brings a 16-year-old lad on away at St. James's Park who batters the winner into a top corner. And then you have, in a different way, last Sunday, Curtis Jones, who still kind of splits hairs in the fan base in terms of what sort of a player he is or how important he is. Curtis Jones comes on, completely changed the game for his wins the free kick that ends up going in the top corner. I think he gave us a foothold in that game. So I know a lot of people probably concerned about how light we looked in the bench in the attacking areas for the first 3 games of the season, but still so much fucking quality in that squad. It's lots massive headaches now coming up to Sunday, like, because I don't know whether Frimpong be back, but you'll have Conor Bradley, who's had a good load of football in his
He
legs
got
this weekend.
he got 90 for Northern Ireland tonight, and I just want to throw something at you because Davey T earlier in here says Frimpong might bring you excitement, but Jesus, Bradley is some player, absolutely brilliant tonight.
You had McAllister, who went off and got to have a few training sessions with Argentina. He wasn't used. Isak, like we're talking about Alexander Isak playing for Liverpool here, but he's off training with Sweden, getting his bearings. You have Van Dijk, who does what Van Dijk does. Gravenberch got arrested tonight, so it was one of them things where, like, I hate international football, and it's nothing to do with me being Irish, but I actually think it came at a good time for us because it gives us a little chance to regroup. And I think the rest of the league be looking around going, geez, Liverpool haven't been good here, but they've 9 from 9. And I think we have a good run of fixtures now where we could put more points on the board, and you have lads coming into jail. You've Ekitike making his debut for France, which is going to put a spring in his step. And like you were saying, last season we struggled like in games towards the back end. We've seen it this season when we took Ekitike off the difference to make, but that's not going to be the case now because you're going to have him, Gakpo, who's been really, really fucking effective this year, can I say again? Him, Gakpo, or Ekitike, one of them's not going to make it, which means you have one of them to bring into the foul off the bench. It's been one of them starts of the season where like Liverpool are kind of like, we're just going to crack on here. Look, if you're going to put a lead on us, you want to put it on us soon, because I think once October, November comes and it's 3 games a week, I think the wheels will really start getting greased with this side. I think we'll start seeing the very best of them. Look, I thought, put my hand up, I thought Virts was dreadful in the first half last week, and then second half, you're seeing straight away the type of quality he has. He was able to play himself into a game. So, look, it's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. I'm not too hung up on the Guay stuff because I think it'll happen eventually, whether it's January or the summer. Who knows? I know there's already more poker going on at the moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about him. I'm one or two others before the end.
Look, you invest 35 million in a young lad from Italy, play him. You know what I mean? Play him. There's going to be plenty of football there for him to play. Joe Gomez, and again, going back to the bench, Joe Gomez, fucking superb cameo off the bench. And he sort of like the perfect type of player if he can stay fit. And I know it's a big if, but look, I'm very, very optimistic and pleased in terms of the window. I think I don't think I'm being edgy when I say this. I think again we were very guilty in football of looking at things in microcosm. I think if you look at this whole thing as a whole, I actually don't think this window is differs from anything we've been told in summers gone by. The buzzword has always been opportunistic, and I just felt like it was the ultimate window of opportunity, for want of a better term, for FSG and the recruitment team, because we needed a new left back. All right, we got the one who was the best in the league last year. We needed a new right back. Okay, well, look, there's Jeremy Frimpong, who's ripped her up at Leverkusen for the last few years. He's highly as rated as any other that we can possibly get. Mamadashvili, he was in since last year. Oh, we need a centre half to cover Kwanzaa because Kwanzaa's gone. All right, well, this lad Leone is ticking all the boxes and he's one of the highest rated in Europe. Yeah, bring him in, bring him to his. Ekitike, again, read an article about him the other day. They off the fucking charts, top 1%, unbelievable, top 99 percentile footballer. Starts putting the ball in the net. He's a unicorn, going to be worth loads of money. Yeah, bring him in, we'll take him. Oh yeah, and the best number 9 on the planet last year, Alexander Isak. Yeah, you come in, and I haven't even mentioned Florian Wirtz yet. So it's literally like it's stuff that we sort of like. It's the stuff. It's the type of stuff you fucking fantasize about. I think if you've done it in FIFA, people will be saying you're taking the piss now, but they've gone and done it. And what they've done is we've been as scathing of FSG as we have been patting them on the back in different ways. And I think that's what you get on this podcast, to be honest with you. I've felt for a long time we've been a window behind for the last couple of years. I think with this window, they've definitely rectified that. We're already hearing noise as to what they want to do in the future, and they already have players earmarked. And the biggest thing for me is, Gav, the one worry I had when Klopp lost was that was he the pull? Was Klopp the major pulling factor in bringing players to Liverpool? Was he the reason why players came? Is Slot going to be as charismatic? Is he going to be as convincing? And it seems he's every bit as, if not more so, because you talk about players having to buy in to play in this team and that buying into this project. We talked about Ekatike being willed by Slot, Reds being willed by Slot. We seem to just be in a perfect position at the moment. I was a little bit worried about how much change is too much change, but I'm not even going to say we got away with it, because I just think the spine of the team is still there, the know-how is still there, and going and getting results still there. We were probably being written off, I think, last Sunday against that Arsenal team, and then we just popped up on man, and they're like, are they really going to do this again? Are we going to get to Christmas on this 10, 12, 14, 14 points in this? And it's, and you can see it, like, a lot of them are demoralised and deflated. And look, nothing is won. No, absolutely nothing is won. But you can bet your bollocks to a barn dance last Sunday night at 12:30, when the Gunners would have been hanging up their phones and putting them on the side of the dresser after a long day of explaining everything to everyone else. And then the phone rings and fucking that Italian fella is telling them all, oh yeah, Alexander Isak's on his way. Whatever road it is, in a Mercedes Sprinter, doing 180 up the yoke. Vinny O'Connor standing outside the exit in his jocks, just standing there waiting for him to come up. Nothing on him, just ready for the day. Smothered in Vaseline. Poor Luke Edwards hiding under the bed. It's just all kicking off, and Liverpool are 9 from 9. Alexander Isak's coming in the door, and you have this fucking 16-year-old youngster that they're at the plucking off Chelsea, who looks like he's just going to do damage every time he plays football. Like, for one, it's all coming up Millhouse, Gaff, and that's the god honest truth. And you can be like Keith always uses this terminology, and I'm gonna rob her out. A slug to the gut. That was a slug. That would have been a big slug to the gut of them signing Isak, because you even heard them all talking about it. They're trying to talk themselves around it. They're all trying to tell us Florian Wirtz not very good at football, and they're trying to tell us now that this Isak fella is no use either. But the proof is in the pudding.
That has been my favourite. That has been my favourite bit, because
the flip flopping. The proof is in the pudding, and I think the pudding is going to be very shiny and evident on the bus doing laps around Albert Dock next year, to be honest with you, because
I'll be there, Sean.
And I'll be on your shoulders. That's just.
I wouldn't go that far, Sean. For fuck's sake.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes anyway. But no, honestly,
it depends how many cans I have. But
and it's fucking mad that me going off there on a 45-minute tangent, and there's only 3 games into the season, like, and I can barely keep me jocks on. Like, what's going to happen when it's that?
What a time to be.
What's the space? Next week, after another 3 that will, Shani will be doing an hour on Hugo Ekatike in a positional sense around the place. Keith, Shani mentioned something there though about, give us a lead and the best of luck to you, and I think that's where I'm kind of looking at from what I want from Liverpool here, because he mentions 2 things: giving us the lead and also, greasing the wheels of this team. And that's when October, November comes, and then once you get to a rhythm, you're kind of not bothered by December. And I think they've changed the football in December now anyway, that it doesn't look as intimidating as it used to. But is that what Liverpool are looking to do? Because I think Liverpool had won last season, and I just thought no one could get within touch of them. No one could really get at them. And I kind of have this feeling that that's what Liverpool are going for, Keith, as well as saying to ourselves, we're not putting all our eggs in this league basket and struggling in other areas. What we've done this summer is to say to ourselves, we want to go out and we want to absolutely put our foot on the pedal here and see if anyone wants to stay with us. But at the same time, we're not going to neglect the Champions League. And we didn't last season, in fairness, but it caught us in the end. But we mightn't even neglect FA Cups as much as we did last season. And we get to a League Cup final, but we are kind of going, oh, that's an interesting team, as we went through the whole thing. Like, what are you looking for here, Keith? Because I genuinely believe if Liverpool win the next 4 or 5 league games, and I'll say it, Liverpool win the next 4 or 5 league games, I think the rest of the league look and go, fuck this. Honestly, they start looking at different. They start looking at different targets for the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, Arsenal, I think, play City and Newcastle,
Newcastle,
don't they, in
2 of
the
their next 3.
next games when they come back. So if Liverpool were to win their next 3, and I know there's difficult games in there. It's a Merseyside derby, isn't there? And
Yeah,
Chelsea, I think, will be in there as well. Like, there's difficult enough games. But if Liverpool can come out of that with another 9 points in the next 3 games, and Arsenal drop points, I think they're all like fucked. I think Liverpool are gone into the bleeding sunset. And that's what they don't want to happen, because I think there's going to be a lot of defeatism around those clubs, and the narrative in the media is, oh, Liverpool are buying the league. Liverpool, no one's saying that, Liverpool are buying this, buying that. It's a fear that Liverpool are bringing in this quality. And they know if Liverpool get into their stride and then have players only hitting their stride, only hitting their straps in, 8, 9, 10 games into the season. Like, the reality is Alexander Isak's probably going to take a few games before he starts for Liverpool. And we're bringing in the one of the best players. And something Shawnee said there about worrying about, people worrying about us bringing in too many players at one time. Arsenal have brought in more. Man City between Christmas and this summer have brought in a shitload of players as well. So I think we all sort of have that ingrained that, we're making too much change, too much churn. It's something we said as well. And the others are doing it as well. So even that, I don't think will catch Liverpool out. So I just think if they can put their foot on the throat over the next few, I think they race away. And as you said, Gav, the squad will be there that they will. You're right, they didn't take the eye off the Champions League. It was a time thing just hit them. They got fucked with that fixture and the League Cup final and all that being in between, and we didn't, I think Slot would be the first to admit that he probably didn't use the squad as well as he could have around that period. But as someone said earlier, it looks like we're building a squad here to negate that. And, we were playing a Champions League game on the Wednesday, and we're playing a big, big match on the Saturday. We can start Ekatike in one, we can start Isak in the other, we can start both of them and both of them. We can start neither of them and still have a strong team. So I think we will be geared up, I think, to attack both. We might not win. Look, there's no giving in football. You get what you deserve ultimately, and there's no guarantee that you will win. But I think Liverpool will be going for every competition that they're in this season. Not that they don't any other year, but I think this year they'll be looking at it and saying, if we can sort of demoralise teams by not playing well and winning, by bringing in superstars that they didn't think we could bring in, and just getting 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. It just knocks the confidence out of teams. And you end up getting to the stage where teams are beaten before you even get onto the pitch. And that's where I want Liverpool to be. And if it gets to that way, teams will jack it in and we will be too far ahead and teams won't catch us. But look, there's a long way to go before that can happen. But depends on what happens with other teams. The pressure is so much on Arsenal now that they have to win one defeat and they now have to be winning. So it's a good place to be, and I think it's somewhere that we've maybe not been. As Shawnee said, he always felt we were a window behind every year. Now it feels like we're on where we should be. I think it's like it's just going to be really, really difficult. It's going to be like when Man City were racing away and teams, apart from Liverpool, were just absolutely giving up the ghost against them. And it'll be very exciting times if it does happen.
Emmett, I'll tell you what this feels like to me. This feels like 2019, 2020. And the reason being is Liverpool went so close the year before. And look, they done 97 points. Last season, we actually go and win the title. But the stages certain teams are at, and I'm not writing anyone off. But when I look at us and City in that season, it was like 98 and 97 points. This is going to be another juggernaut season, and I think it's around the 8th or 9th of November. We play Man City in 2019. We play City. And we had that Villa result the week before. And we beat them. And we go 9 clear of them. I think it's the first week in November. And everyone just went, that's it. Because Liverpool were just like this machine that was just going. We were just rolling up last season. and any doubts we had in ourselves are gone. We're going to go and we're going to beat you, and then we're going to beat everyone. And I think we had 26 wins and one draw in the first 27 games or something stupid like that, right? The one draw being away at Old Trafford, Lallana's late equaliser. But what I'm saying here is, we're looking at this Liverpool team that we're kind of going, yeah, we're doing all right. We've won our games, but if Liverpool turn up now after the international break, and I'm not saying blow teams out of the water like Harlem Globetrotter stuff, because people should say to you, oh, they've hit their peak now, they'll have to come down from it. But if Liverpool turn up in the next 4 or 5 weeks and they raise it 10% and they're winning games, then they raise it another 10% and they're winning games, everyone around us does kind of have to look. And I'm sure there's people in the chat going, what are these lads at? Like, we think we're winning fucking everything here and it's the 7th of September. But what I'm saying is, as much as you can be, you can kind of be a bit wary of things, I'm genuinely looking at this team going, if we step this 10% and 10% over 4 and 5 week periods, teams will be struggling to stay with us and looking, and within their clubs, forget the media stuff, Emma, within their clubs to be going, these lads are nowhere fucking near where they're going to be, and we are absolutely trying our best to cling on to them. Is that what Slot wants? Because I think it is. I think Slot wants to blow things away, where he literally turns in January, February and goes, right, Champions League, this is our main focus, and we've done our job over here. Is that what he wants? Because I genuinely do think that's what he wants.
It feels a bit like he's very methodical. Like I could listen to him all day long. Like, but you can't. It's the type of plan that you'd well believe that he actually has. Like the 3 teams that we've played, like Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, like they're all difficult. They're all difficult games, and we've not been anywhere near. I know you love this, but they're the 3 teams that have conceded the least amount of XG so far this season, and we've beaten all of them. And we're nowhere near as good as we're gonna be. Shawnee's right. Like last week, and we had bits of it last year. The passing is sloppy. When that all begins to click, and I think Jones was a massive impact on the game last week. Massive. I think he did all of the running that maybe Wirtz was doing in the first half and allowed Wirtz to pick up little spaces. But when all of that kind of clicks, and he kind of, I'm not going to say has it settled 11, because I think you're going to see it change week in, week out. It's never going to be, it'll be very tough to predict the starting 11 for us, I think. But when all that starts clicking, I think we go close. I agree with you what you say with 1920. Like we could be over the hill and far away come November, December time. And what about City? They've lost 2 of their first 3, so we're already 6 points clear of them after 3 games.
And they play Arsenal and United in their next couple as well.
Arsenal, United, and I think it's United first and then Arsenal next. Yeah, it's United next weekend. Arsenal have 12:30 against Nottingham Forest this Saturday. That's not an easy game. I think what's become more and more apparent probably over the last couple of years is this, bar the teams that come up from the Championship, that there's no real easy games in the Premier League anymore. Everybody's going to give you a game. But I just think that we don't want to see that kind of heavy metal football. I don't think we're going to see it. We saw it in parts last year. It was kind of nearly like he started the season where he wanted to play his way, decided that we maybe didn't have the players to do that, and then just let them off the reins after a while. But I'd say this season is going to be more geared towards the way he wants to play, and he has his players in now that he wants to play a certain way. And I think we'll just grind teams down. I think in 1920 we were blowing teams away. I don't know whether we'll blow teams away, but we'll grind them down into submission. Like you saw, you said it yourself, the first game of last season where Brentford were absolutely out on their feet. What was Brentford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After 70 minutes, me and Sean were standing in the background going, these are fucked.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're likely to see this season. But we've not seen it yet, but that's where I think we're going to get to. And that probably is his plan. Have it won, now I'm going to say have it won by Christmas, but have a good kind of gap by Christmas where you can then start planning on, okay, rotation, Champions League, League Cup, if you're still in it, FA Cup starts in January. But like I said, earlier on, I just think he has it in his mind that he wants to go and try and win the lot. And I think we probably saw that maybe from Klopp 3 years ago, where we were in it all the way up and played all bar. I think we played in every game you could possibly play in the season. But I think that Slot has seen what kind of tweaks he needs to make to be able to do something like that. And I wouldn't put it past him if he thinks that he could be the first to go and win all four. How good would it be to, like, we're completely losing the run of ourselves here now, to go unbeaten and win all four and just sicken the whole of all of the United, Arsenal and City fans?
I'd
have
have
a
to,
bit of that.
I'd like that. I'd no reason to watch football again.
Yeah, well, to be fair, like when I go into seasons, my
us.
first priority is always the league, always. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
love it.
big
I love a European Cup, but I actually think, I think the league will serve. They'll service each other, and I don't. I think they done their job in one sense last season. I just don't think the other one serviced itself properly, and I think that was a result of what we're talking about: players trust, playing players all the time, and ending up becoming up a bit short in that Champions League. Because to be fair, if you get through that group, if you get through that round, you've every chance of winning it. Like, I think you end up with Villa, Arsenal, and then the final against who were the lads in the final against PSG, Inter. And I think he's looked at it and went, yeah, we need to serve as one. They need to dovetail a little bit better, and I think he's put stuff in place to be that a little bit better. Shawnee, I'll come to you on this. We've had plenty of signings in, and we still have some fantastic players at the football club. But I want you to give me one, not for the whole season, but just one that you're looking for between now and, let's say, New Year's Day, where do you say to yourself, if this fella does what he's meant to do, we are money. Because we can talk about systems, and we can talk about he be good here and he be good there. One player that if he just plays was his level, and it can be an existing player.
New sign that's currently here.
No, you can pick any player in the squad where you think if he plays to his potential between now and New Year's Day, Liverpool are absolute money.
Oh, I think it's Virgil. I think it's Virgil. I think it's starting to kind of click now with people who aren't Liverpool fans that he is the best ever. Like, you're starting to see the conversations turn, and people are starting to kind of give up. Sort of arguing. I'm wondering, has he? I don't think I've ever seen him better than he has been in the opening 3 games. But I'll caveat that with maybe Virgil probably hasn't been as busy in other Liverpool teams as he has in the last 3 games, because I think probably defensively he's had probably a lot more to do than he'd like. But I think if Virgil van Dijk maintains his level, you don't lose any games of football. And I just think he's that good. I think we can sit here now. We're talking about a fella who's nearly at the club nearly 10 years now. But just, he's fucking incredible, Gaff. He's absolutely incredible. Like, you're thinking, is he going to start slowing down? Is the pace going to negate him? But he's just always there. He's imperious away at Newcastle. He's absolutely fucking unbelievable. And he was brilliant again against Arsenal. And I thought Konate was excellent as well. And I think that'll be the house that your league win is built on, because it's one of them things now where I think in terms of Liverpool's front, let's say front 4, so I'm saying left wing striker, Cam, Wirtz and Salah. They're nearly kind of set and forget players for me. I think if they're going to do it, one of them is going to do it. If not, 2 of them don't do it. If 3 of them don't do it, one of them will definitely do it. And you just know that. It's a given. I think we've scored in every game under Slot in the league, bar 1, which is the Forest game. That's the only game you haven't scored in. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Considering the places you have to go and where you have to play football. For me, it's about Virgil. If he stays fit, if Virgil van Dijk plays 33 or more league games, he's already played 3. So if he plays another 31 league games, you win the league. That's what I believe. I can't emphasize it enough that they're building all of these lads up to be the next one and the closest thing to him. I'm sorry, they're just miles away. He's the Lionel Messi of centre backs.
I don't think it's even the discussion that he's the best
a
centre
game
back the Premier
changer.
League's ever seen.
He's
I
a
don't even
joke,
think it's a discussion.
And you know what? You get blown away. You see it like players impress you throughout time, but like the game is kind of flat. And I haven't seen anyone mention it. The game is kind of flat last Sunday. 60 minutes in, it's kind of boom, boom, boom. He gets the ball. He wraps one at 100 mile an hour on the deck into Szoboszlai's feet. He plays it out wide. It comes back inside to McAllister. McAllister plays it into Wirtz. Wirtz has a half volley. Ball is saved. Ball ends up in the goal. Ruled off for offside. The ground is up. Mm-hmm. The ground is up. He ignites it. He's starting it. The ground is up. And then it's just a flurry for 20 minutes. And you're like, we're going to score. We're going to score here. And it all comes from him. Mm. It all comes from him. He's incredible. He's another level. And the thing is, he's the star man, and the supporting cast are all best in class around him now. And that's the other thing. Like, you're looking, thinking, like, I couldn't imagine a world where I didn't have McAllister in the starting 11 last year. Yeah. Like, you're just thinking he's just so. But now, like, you're looking at Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai is not in any of these make you up 11s that people are doing. He wasn't in any of them over the summer. Now he's not playing. Dominic Szoboszlai's not going to play. He was like in fucking Trent's tweets about leaving. He's not going to play. He's going to be left out. He's going to play more minutes than nearly anyone.
He probably played the most this season, won't he?
Yeah, he probably will.
You see, he has the stamina to do it.
Gav, and that's what I mean. Or like, it's crazy what we've gone to. We've gone from Klopp, who was this just fucking conduit of charisma, who just conquers all around them, and everyone gets to buy in, and everyone hates you, but we all love him. And it's kind of, he created that thing, and we went on and we won everything. And then you get this fucking football genius, Arne Slot in, who just knows how to manipulate every situation and player to his liking. The amount of games this fella has changed, off the bench or through mixing it up, it's frightening. And that's why I kind of like, it's completely all going under the radar. Nobody is talking about that this fella is potentially one of the greatest managers you've ever seen. And I'm not over-egging the pudding there. He's that good. Slot is that good. He's that intelligent. He has it down. He has all the Muppets on Sky on strings. They're afraid to ask him questions now.
They're afraid to ask because he gives a
technical
hasn't done it by being answer, and they're all like, "Fuck
he does
that."
He does it with a shit-eating grin on his face. He does it with a shit-eating grin on his face, smirking. Mo Salah, who's arguably the greatest Premier League player of all time, hasn't even put his fucking boots on yet this season.
No,
he hasn't even started. So, like, they can all look, and the biggest telltale for me is there's a load of fucking idiots in the media, and there's loads of them who pander and play characters. And don't get me wrong, the fella I'm going to mention, he loves a soundbite, but one thing he's incapable of doing is, I think, when he sees it as it is, he calls it. Roy Keane talking about Liverpool after the Arsenal game and after the Newcastle game, it smacks to me. He knows he's looking at a team that nearly represents everything that United were under Ferguson when he played for them. No matter how bad they played, there'd always be someone on the pitch who you could turn around and go, do you know what? He's going to pick us up and he's going to win us the game. If he's not doing it, he'll do it. And that's what this Liverpool squad is. It's just lads all over the pitch who are able to do it. We've already seen more Chiesa off the bench than we did at any stage last year. So, like, it's all positives. Like, I stood outside the ground last week. I was talking to Alex, and there was a lad there, and he was like talking like it was doom and gloom, talking about how poor Liverpool means. This fella's a Liverpool fan. Like, we have 9 out of 9 points, Chief. Like, what's going to happen when we start playing football?
Yeah.
What's going to happen when we start playing football? Let's be honest. We just turn it on its head. What looking like, and again, another thing as well that we know more about this fucking league phase, Champions League, than we did last year, and we went fucking full throttle till the end of that and got nothing. We got smacked in the face for finishing top of the thing. We'll lean into that way more now as well. we will lean way. He's counting now by game week 5 or 6. Are we in the top 8?
Permutations all over the
Are we in
place.
the top 8? Yeah, all right. Have a day off, boys.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's as simple as that. And I think he's going to be even better. I think Arne Slot is not getting the praise
No.
that he
I
deserves.
think he is
He's not bad.
from Liverpool.
I am
from
still
Liverpool
hearing the
fan base.
mention of it
No.
taking Klopp's
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
isn't
not
it?
to
It still
talk
gets
about-
reeled out.
To be honest, I wouldn't have.
Arteta too much this time. The other.
Well, you see, it's funny now because
Yeah.
it's funny because it was someone put in the chat there earlier. I think it might have been John Owen. He said, "I'm very surprised Liverpool aren't on this Saturday at 12:30. It's usually written in the TNT Sports scrolls
Well, you
when
can't
Liverpool
do
play." But no, you see, I think there's a thing to this. I think last season after Klopp leaves Liverpool and Slot comes in, I think Liverpool are on in this. First of all, they were on a 12:30 with a nice Klopp, right? And TNT are able to pick. They can only pick a team up to 6 times a season at 12:30, and they always fill that quota on Liverpool. And it was always because the reference I would make is it's the popcorn game, right? Where you can sit with your popcorn and wait for things to unfold. And TNT will have a lovely time when Klopp gets beaten in a 12:30, or the new man Slot comes in. It's like, oh, look at them, they're all over the place. This is going to be the end of Liverpool. I think Arsenal are that team this season. I think Arsenal are that team that TNT will look to put on a 12:30, because what will happen if Arsenal fucking lose? They know that they're getting the traction off the fucking meltdown, and I think that they're moving that way a little bit. And it's no coincidence that the 12:30 is Arsenal. I don't think it's any coincidence whatsoever. With regards to the Slot getting the credit, I think he deserves all the credit in the world, because to be fair, I think it's nearly a harder job to come in and keep the players that belong to someone else and mould them into what he moulded them into last season. I think it's a harder job. I think it would have been an easier job for him to come in last season and went A, B and C are out and D, E and F are in. And I know them, I can do this, boom, boom, boom. And yeah, there's probably more pressure on you because you've changed a really good side. But I can't give them enough credit. I really can't, for the reasons you've said, Shawnee. You know, the way they've won games off the bench, the teams he's picked, the changes he makes in game, whether that's 20 minutes in, 50 minutes in, 80 minutes in, it doesn't matter. He makes the changes, and when he makes them, they work. And I think, you know, he's put his balls on the table this summer. He said, right, go and get me this, and this, and it's going to cost us 450 million grand, but it doesn't matter, because look, these lads over here, they're selling fucking loads of players for loads of money as well. So don't worry about the 400 million. It's actually not 400 million. It's fine. It's well manageable because of the revenue Liverpool have. And if you can't understand that, I don't know what we can do. But I think he's put his balls on the table here. And people will be looking, going, oh, what happens if he fails? I think he's even more confident in what he can do with this. I think he's more, and not because of the the qualities being brilliant that he's brought in. I think in his own mind, he has this player, this player, this player, this player, and this player, and I know what I can do. And I know what I can do, and I know what I can achieve. And he's so cool. I think it's unbelievable. Keith, Shawnee's mentioned VVD. One or two others in there as well. I'm going to throw it at you, but you can disagree. I think it's Alexander Isak, because I think that when I look at last season, if Liverpool performs at that level of last season, and you add Alexander Isak in that can do Alexander Isak things, I think Liverpool could go as far as they want and anything they want. Genuinely, I think it's him. I trust the other players that are there and other players that have come in to have an impact. But I think that number 9 down the middle that's going to bang you 20 to 25 goals this season, if you guarantee me him, I'm not having an argument that Liverpool don't win 2, if not more, trophies.
I mean, if you look at Darwin Núñez over the last few years, and I was a Darwin Núñez fan, he missed a lot of fucking sitters. You know what I mean? He missed a lot of sitters that if you had a striker that was putting them away, things are a lot more comfortable, you'd say. And that's what we expect from Alexander Isak. I agree with what Shawnee said. If Van Dijk is good and is available, we'll win the league. I get what you're saying. If Isak is good and banging and firing, we win the league. I'm going to say if Wirtz is good and firing, we win the league. And I'll use him in the example that a lot of fans are jumping on this. Oh, he hasn't started well. He hasn't, hit the ground running. He's a flop. Liverpool have spent 100 million and he's a flop. And I think that'll be a dagger into the heart. Similar with Isak. They use the price and the pray that he's going to be a flop. And I think that'll be a dagger into the heart of them all. And I love when rival fans online especially get proven wrong. So I think we could say any number of players here You know, we can say Isak, we can say Virgil, we can say Wirtz, we can say Szoboszlai. You know, there's a fucking rake of these players that we can say are going to be the most lethal. But I mean, if we were to replicate the chances that Nunes was getting, and you have Isak in there, you would imagine that he's going to get 25 goals in the league this season. You know, and if you can add a striker getting 25 goals, and we expect to get goals from elsewhere, you know, it's just going to be the sort of, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, whatever way we look at it for the other teams, and it's brilliant. You know that we're not hanging our hat on Mo Salah. Don't get me wrong, Mo Salah has been horrendous so far, but we all expect that he will come back and at some stage will start performing. He won't be getting the goals that he got 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but he's more creative now. So if you have Mo Salah putting in balls across, you know, the little Trivellas that he loves hitting across, and you have Ekitike and you have Isak in there, Liverpool as a whole will get better. So we're stronger with the players we brought in, obviously, but we look more dangerous all over the pitch, and it could be Isak, it could be Wirtz, could be fucking any of them, and that's the beauty of it.
Emma, Shawnee has Van Dijk. I have Isak. I don't know who Keith.
I went with Wirtz.
He's went with Wirtz, so they're off the table. Or you can agree with one of them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree with Shawnee. It's Van Dijk. For almost
don't need to cut me off so harshly. Emma.
Oh, sorry. Okay. No, I was when you asked the question, I immediately thought Van Dijk or Alisson, and hopefully we see Alisson a little bit more than we've probably seen him the last 2 years. Not saying that I don't trust Georgie, but he didn't fill me full of confidence when I saw him playing with his feet. Hands wise is okay, but I think he has a bit to go to have the same level of ball at his feet as Alisson and Kelleher maybe. But for me, I settled on Van Dijk then, because I think that for the same reason as Shawnee, from midfield up, if one of them doesn't do it, someone's going to do it. But if Virgil doesn't do it, who else is going to do it at the back? That's just like Salah at the moment, he's saying, Shawnee says he hasn't even laced up his boots this season. I don't think we could afford for Van Dijk to have a few games off. Like we can allow Salah to have a few games off. And for that reason, that's why I think it's Van Dijk. I think he's massive to this team. You'll probably get away with not playing him in cup games. I think we'll probably see him in all league games. I think he probably starts vast majority of them. He'd probably get a night off maybe in a couple of the Champions League games, but other than that, he's your foundations that the team is basically built on. And without him, I think everything falls apart. Not tragically, but we would be a lot weaker. Whereas other people can pick up the slack in other positions, midfield, forward. I don't think there's anybody else at the club. I don't think it's a phrase that Shawnee uses. I don't even think the next Virgil van Dijk is probably even born yet. So there's probably not another person that you could put in there that would shore up the defence like he does. It's a presence thing with Van Dijk. Not like he's an excellent footballer, but it's the presence and the aura about him. We've seen it in the past. Players, they see that one-on-one with him and they look to pass the ball or they look to run into, I think it was Martinez, was it, off Inter Milan, ran towards the corner flag when he saw, oh shit, one-on-one with this lad, I'll just run over here. I think Dzeko did it then again, a couple of... So it's an aura about him, and I think without him, we'd be up shit creek. Whereas one or two misfiring ahead, somebody else is going to pick up the slack. I think Salah's only scored, I think he scored once, did he, so far this season? Yeah. And we've scored what? 8 or 9 goals?
Or 8 goals, we have 7 different goal scorers.
There you go. So for me, it's Van Dijk for those reasons. If he has an off day, we could be goosed. If somebody up front or in midfield has an off day, someone else is going to do the heavy lifting for them.
Okay. Van Dijk having an off day or getting an injury, touch wood, it doesn't happen. It also gives the opposition the biggest chance. You know, that's the one that they would be like, right, the air of invincibility is gone nowadays, and it gives them a step as well.
That's opposition's fans. They always go to, oh, you're only one Van Dijk injury or one Salah injury away from falling apart. Well, now we're not a Salah injury. I think we manage if Salah, touch wood, don't want him to get injured. But if he gets injured, I think we manage. Because they all say, oh, where the goal's going to come from then? You've got fucking
Yeah, I
Ekitike
think
and Isak. Van Dijk, Allison not so much, because we've seen Kelleher has come in and done a job. Hopefully Marmadashvili can do the exact same. But who is that replacement? Who's that sticky plaster for Van Dijk? I don't think the player exists.
I wasn't really thinking of it that way. What I was thinking was, if my whole thinking on this is that if you just give me what Van Dijk is, right, on ground, I'm thinking what player do you want to see? It's probably in my mind it was more pushing us on, the sort of way.
Okay.
If Salah does his thing and Van Dijk does his thing, we're brilliant. But I was thinking more of, what player do I want to see absolutely play to his maximum level to give us to give this team something else? And maybe I looked at it a little differently to you.
But then I'd side with Keith then in that case then, and it'd be Verts.
Would it? Yeah.
These boys, Ekitike and Isak, they're gonna absolutely once this fella clicks and his little through balls and like even the ball across the box that Salah probably should have hit first time last week against Arsenal. Like that little lovely weighted ball, like you've seen it in pre-season. He just gives it to you on a plate. You don't even need to break stride. You put Isak or Ekitike on the end of them once he hits, once Verts gets going. And
my thing is
we're
my thing on Verts is I think he's actually been okay. I just think we've looked to involve him way too much and needlessly at times, where it's just switch the ball out there to Salah and then let
He's
Verts
going
get
to end
involved.
up being like a David Silva toy player for us.
Yeah, he is. He's going to be one where he comes in and people are kind of going, yeah, he's really good, but can he? And then you're kind of going, yeah, he fucking can. And he's going to do it for many years. Before we go, I want your views on, all your views on this. Konate and Guehi. Off the back of this transfer window, we've gone through the Guehi stuff and all of that. The latest thing coming out is apparently Liverpool won't go back in. Paul Joyce is reporting that Liverpool will not go back in for Guehi in January. They feel that they can go and take him for free next summer. And of course, Konate still hasn't signed the deal, and there's more murmurings around Real Madrid. Sean, I'll let you go first. Worried about this? I'm not really worried about either. I think Liverpool will sort it. I think you have to have confidence in them, particularly off the back of what they've done this summer. Are you worried over either of them, or what way do you think this ends up?
No, I'm not worried about either of them, because I think in the worst case scenario, if it gets to a break glass situation, they'll just buy Guehi in January. I think, and I think if we're in good enough nick, they'll feel they don't need to do that in January. As far as Konate, I think he's gone. I think he's going to go. Sadly, a top centre-back, there's no doubt about it. I know he's not probably been great since January, since coming back off that injury. Shown shades of his best stuff last week, and I believe he was excellent for France the other night, someone said. I think he'll go. I think he would have signed by now. And I don't like the noise come out. I don't like what he said yesterday about Mbappe. I think actually it's for another reason why I would have liked him to have the Guehi in the door, because I think it would have been the perfect chance to make an example of him after coming out and saying what he said, saying that he's on the phone to Mbappe every 2 hours or something.
I think the quote was that Mbappe is...
I'm probably paraphrasing.
Mbappe is annoying him all the time to sign for Real Madrid.
I didn't read
he's on the phone to me every 2 hours, and he laughed.
Yeah. Look, I think
but he still mentioned Madrid, so
whatever Konate does now, I think he can learn a lot from how the other fella went out the door, and I think he could actually save himself a bit of grace if coming up closer to Christmas, because you know what, I won't say it's not being the same as the other fella, because he hasn't really shirked away. He's still been kind of vocal. We've heard him talking. You see him in the inside training videos. He seems to be in great form, and he's been around. So I don't think he's kind of shaking it like the other fella did, just going radio silent. I think he might buy himself a little bit of grace if he comes out around Christmas and said, "Look, it's going to be my last 6 months at Liverpool for this, that, and the other." And look, listen, you can't sit on this podcast saying "fuck Konate, fuck this, fuck that," if his choice is just to go, because in the same breath you were turning around tearing strips off Newcastle a few weeks ago for not wanting Isak to go. I think you just sometimes you just have to take your medicine on this one. You could probably turn around and make an argument to say that it's Madrid and Liverpool at this moment, like as opposed to it being a total another forward step, which you normally it's probably represents more of a sideways step now for Konate from going to Liverpool to Madrid.
Just better weather,
if you're being honest, yeah, and maybe a big signing on or whatever. I'd like him to stay. I'm not going to sit here. Unless he starts disrespecting the badge, putting his head down, going missing in games, then you kind of have an issue with it. But I think Ebu can do himself a favour here and just kind of, and I didn't expect it from the other fella because he didn't have the character. We seen it as soon as the noise started last year against United, he gave up on the pitch and that was it. It was curtains. I think Konate has a chance to turn around and say, I've 4 or 5 months left at Christmas and I promise you I'm going to win all these trophies and we'll see how it goes. And what will be. I take, and then if that is, you look and you just bring in Guehi in the summer. But I'm not worried about the situation as of now because I feel like Liverpool have a trump card now with Guehi where everything was done. They spoke to him and his people. He did all the media stuff, this, that and the other. The move was kind of stolen away from him. I'd imagine that there's a relationship being maintained there between Liverpool and his side of the party. And if it comes to January and we need to get him out there, we can do it. And it's not going to cost us an arm and a leg. And Palace will feel like, all right, we're not losing them for free and we'll let them go. Wherever about Glasner, because I think Glasner's there. By come Christmas, Glasner could be bleeding.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's, what do you say, today's newspaper is tomorrow's chip paper. I think he could be chip paper well and truly by then at that stage. But look, listen, Konate, if he doesn't want to play for Liverpool anymore, what can you do? Like, there's not a whole lot you can do. He's been a great player from us. And I just think you just have to trust this recruitment team who have literally gone and done best in class all over the pitch this summer to go and do it again. I'm not going to worry about how I'm going to enjoy it. I didn't worry about it last year when 3 of our best players in the squad were up for renewal. I think we can all learn a lot from what happened last year. I think what will be. And when it comes to the end, it'll only always be Liverpool and the players who want to be there. We've seen him with Virgil. We've seen him with Mo. We've seen him with the other fella. And the truth always comes up. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm not really. I'm not being edgy. I'm just not, because I just think there's loads of scenarios here where Liverpool have covered. And again, I'll go back to what I said. You pay 35 million to take a young fella that was fledgling in Italy playing for Parma. Give him a chance. Give him a fucking chance. And I'm not saying throw him into the Wolves and destroy his career. Give him a chance. Show him you trust him. He didn't make the bench last week. Didn't make the bench. Did not make the bench. So give him a chance. Trust him. I know that Southampton game is coming up and I'm sure that's earmarked where he'll tog out. But give him a chance. Not only the manager, but the fans as well. If he comes in and makes mistakes, don't be getting on his fucking back. Because you've all done it to Kwanzaa last year. Talking about how he wasn't good enough anymore after one game. Not all of them. I'm probably generalising there, but a lot of you did. So I think young lads and this coaching staff deserve patience and our grace to trust the decisions that they'll make. In terms of Konate, I'd love him to stay. But if he goes, he goes. I'm not worried. Liverpool are in the ascendancy. No matter who stays and goes next summer, I think we're going to be still looking at the top bracket. And I think you'd be a sorrier man walking out and looking back at what's being built than going over to Madrid and sort of just jumping on the conveyor belt there of what they call like a season in, season out sort of process where win or lose, it doesn't really fucking mean anything, does it?
No. John O asks, is Nathan Collins a ball playing centre back because his name keeps coming up? I genuinely will have nightmares if Nathan Collins goes near Liverpool.
I like Nathan Collins.
He's a fucking terrible defender. He's a last ditch defender. That's what he is. He's last ditch. I shudder at the fucking thought of him playing with Liverpool. Genuinely.
Not terrible. Terrible is hard.
He is. He's fucking awful.
He's not a Virgil.
He's probably not Liverpool level, but it doesn't mean he's not terrible.
Right, okay, he's not terrible. He's nowhere near Liverpool's level. He's nowhere near Liverpool's level. Everything about him was last ditch and fucking no, I can't. My thing on this is, you trust Joyce on what he's saying without a shadow of a doubt. Straight after that transfer didn't happen. It was reported widely by Crystal Palace's end, by the way. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's Ed something. Ed Aarons, is it? And there was another guy as well. That kept reporting the following day with good updates.
Gary Jacobs, was it?
No, was it Jacobs? No, there's another fella. I can't remember his name. Anyway, it was widely reported by these that, listen, Guay's extremely upset over this. Liverpool are upset over this. And Liverpool have assured Guay that they'll make this deal happen, whether it's January or New Year, or January or the next season. And Liverpool have been very solid on that with Mark Guay. So nothing has fallen out with them two. I think with Guay, I think there's a bit of poker being played here. You'll take your fucking offer in January, or he's going for nothing. And I think the player might make the same noises. So I'm not bothered by that. Whatever happens. With Konate, I'm a bit the same. I think we can get way too hung up, and I'm as guilty as anyone else of getting hung up on what about this and what about that. He should do this, he should do that. The one thing I would say is that if this drags on to the end of the season and nothing is said from either side, and then it's just announced at the end of the season, I'm off. I think it's a terrible look. I said it with Trent, it was a terrible fucking look, and I'd agree with Konate if he does the same. I'm not 100% on whether he signs a deal or not. I really aren't. But again, I have to have confidence in the football club to say, listen, if he signs, this is what we're doing. If he doesn't sign, this is what we're doing. And it might look a bit rocky at times from the outside, but overall, I trust him to have control over the situation. I think he'd be mad to go to Madrid. I genuinely do, because I don't know how far off they're appointing another manager, and I'm not going to lie to you. I just don't think. I think Alonso's great, but I don't know how much he suits them. I really, the way he wants to play and stuff, and he's already bound down to them. For me, Alonso, in the way he's playing, he's bound down to other people, in my opinion. But I'm not too bothered over either situation. I think Liverpool will have control over what they want to do in either scenario, whether it's Guay in January, Guay in June, no Guay, or the same with Konate. I'm absolutely fine with it. Keith, where are you on it before we leg it? I know.
I echo everything that's being said there. I think Gay's very good. I think he's excellent, and I'd love to get him in. And been watching him, in the games and the Charity Shield and all that sort of stuff. And he just reminds me of Ledley King, in the sense. Now, Ledley King was bigger than him, right? Ledley King was 6'2". Mark Gray, he's only 6 foot. But he just reminds me how he plays. And Ledley King's one of the best centre-backs of that generation. Never gets his flowers, never gets the credit. Ledley King was a fucking... but when he played, amazing.
Yeah, when he played, he was great.
Absolutely
but his injuries killed him.
Footballer. And he just reminds me of Ledley King for some reason. So I'm not concerned about the height thing with him that some people are concerned about, that he's only 6 foot. I'd bring him in because he's excellent on the ball, and he's intelligent, and he's brave. He's very good. Looking at him, I think he would suit us down to the ground. If Konate goes, Konate goes. I don't agree with you there, Gav, saying, it's a bad look. Trent's bad luck was he's there, he's a scouser, and, he was talking about being the captain. I think his bad luck will be worse than any other player.
Oh, yeah, no, I get
goes,
that. I get that, but the player's always going to get the blame if he says nothing between now and the end of the season, and then says,
I just don't. I think Trent was held in a different standard than any non-Scouse player will be held in, and
agreed.
People don't tend to like that, but it's the way it is. But I just think Konate. I love Konate. I think he's brilliant, but he's a player that can be injury prone. We keep him fit. He's excellent. If you lose him, maybe we've got the best out of him and we move him on. Who knows? But the one thing is, and you've said it there, you have to trust that Liverpool will have a plan, and whatever the plan is, it will be the right thing to do. And whether it's Mark Way, and look, we have all the cards there so much that if we want them in January, and I know Paul Joyce coming out and saying we won't go for him in January, but as you say, if we need him and we think we need him, or he wants to come in January, like 15 million's getting mentioned, I'd be saying, hey, there's 6 million. Let's negotiate on that, because you're getting nothing for him in a few months, and trying, not that you'd get him for 6 million, but you might be getting him in there for 8-10 million, and Liverpool won't do that, because Liverpool are too nice of a club. I think that's the thing. with the whole Isaac thing over the summer, what was annoying me was the narrative coming out of the Newcastle journalists was, Liverpool bad, Liverpool disrespectful, Liverpool were doing nothing, Liverpool put in a bid and then said, we're not going to do it until Newcastle tell us. And it's like, right, this is, Liverpool are very respectful about transfers and things like that. But I think Steve Parish, I'd say, is fucking sticking pins in his Oliver Glasgow doll because he's lost out on 25, 30 million, whatever it was, 30. How much were he going to pay? 35 million. He's lost out on 35 million now because a manager, I think, was entitled to
15% of their overall income across the year.
Yeah, but the manager, I think, was right to nearly say, look, we can't be, you didn't get any of his fucking centre-backs in.
Yeah, but he got a centre-back in and then he turned around and told him, listen, you won't be playing, by the way. Great medical, but listen, great medical, but you're not going to... No, the fella from Brighton.
They surely have to have other centre-halves there. They didn't just have...
Lads, Glasgow done that on purpose. This the talkie are giving me, all right, I'm going to string him along then at 3 o'clock and going to tell him it's not happening. Yeah. And then we're not getting
apparently the decision was made at 4.
Yeah, but Glasgow just turned around and said, I ain't going. I ain't going if he goes. It's as simple as that.
Should have just called his bluff.
Nah, because he would have went.
Yeah,
he done the exact same thing with Frankfurt. He would have went.
If he walked,
you call his bluff, Emmett. You're there with a lad who was out of contract anyway in a year, and then you're down a manager, and then all of a sudden, the next fella, then all of a sudden you're looking like you could be relegated. Because they didn't do enough business in the summer, and Glasgow is that, wherever way you paint it, he's their biggest asset.
On the blower to Bleed, not like Gunnar Solskjaer to take over from him, you're in Bleed in big trouble.
Glasgow played a blinder. He played a blinder. He basically just turned around and goes, all right, who are you giving me? Do you know what? I'll take Joe Gomez if he'll come. No, we're not going to do that deal. If you're all right. So you're giving me Brighton's 5th choice centre-back, bring him down with a medical. You are good, pal. How's your knee? Yeah, grand. Yeah, by the way, you're holding bench. You're not getting a fucking sniff.
That's exactly what he done.
But apparently came out that
you signed here, you're not playing. So sling your hook.
In the last couple of hours,
was bleeding nuts in the bleeding F45 instructor in the middle of bleeding.
Absolute zumba in the head off himself.
On the Peloton bike, giving out absolute yards, and then he gets a shout saying, "Hey, listen, your man's down there in West Ham now signing on. He has Karen Brady in the headlock. Has Karen Brady there by the ankles, and you think I'm going to sign him?"
Steve Parrish's phone absolutely vibrating the bits on the dashboard of the rowing machine, not giving a bollocks.
Wait, he's staying on all the Liverpool guys. Yeah, no bother. I'm gonna bet Leverkusen now. I heard to let the other fella go. I'll catch you next Sunday. No fucking bother. And he was left up a creek without a paddle. And I think Glasgow, he's obviously a very calculated, very clever dude. He literally just said, "Yeah, it's my way or the highway here." And the biggest loser there is Quatey. Because
no director of football either, haven't he? Not doing free.
And by the way, Davey T, what a fucking shout! I've never seen it. Paul McGrath, that he has all the same attributes.
Yeah,
all the same attributes, and there's not like if I had to look up how good Paul McGrath was because he was a little bit before my time, but I only ever heard about him because he's from
Paul McGrath was brilliant.
He's from where I'm from, and my dad used to just wax lyrical about this fella and how good he was.
Have you never seen the clips of him against Italy in '94?
Yeah, but forget that. Did you ever see him when he played for Sheffield United and he was about fucking 40 and he played about 6 games for them and they're only short of building a statue for him. He was that
He's in a jocker in '94. He's in a jocker in '94. He's in bits and he goes out and plays and you had Baggio and Signori and all these and he was off the charts good. He was off the charts good.
Full of Beamish. Open Italians around.
Yeah, a whiskey chaser before he went on. Not about it to him. Look, Emma, we spoken there a bit about Guay and a bit about Konate. Where are you on it? I know you seem more upset about Guay than most of us, but the Konate stuff, where are you on
it? I keep flip-flopping. I keep thinking, I've always said that I thought that the only move that would make sense for him leaving Liverpool would be to go to PSG because he's Paris born and bred, and that's where I thought he would end up. I agree. I don't think it's a good move for him to go to Real Madrid, but like the noise coming out of him, I didn't know about that Mbappe thing until tonight. But then you watch him in games, and Like I know we always slag the getting the crowd going and stuff like that, but he's playing with like he loves the place. You didn't see that out of the other chap, yeah. So I don't really. If he ends up going, it feels like he's giving it his all. It just didn't feel like the other lad was giving it his all. I think I'm 50-50. You could ask me the same question tomorrow and I think he's staying. I think we're not in as bad of a position if he goes, if we get Guehi. And I think that you may even see a deal done in January for both of them so that we're not losing out on money and Palace aren't losing out on money. Kind of nearly like a Konate goes early, Guehi comes to us early. I was really disappointed on the whole Guehi thing. I made myself look at a right tick. I was saying Joe Gomez won't be a Liverpool player come 7 o'clock because I honestly thought with Guehi coming in, Gomez was going to go. And we apparently offered Gomez in the last hour or two on loan to Palace, and they said no.
No, well, I heard that we offered them on loan, but they wanted the loan with an option to buy or vice versa, and it couldn't be agreed. But then Joe Gomez has to agree to it as well, you know.
Yeah, I honestly, I thought it would have been
anything, so it didn't matter. Could have.
I thought it would be ideal for Gomez to go there. He's a London boy, like
Steve Parrish was checking how many steps he'd done during the day. No one was doing anything on this Monday. Like no,
I don't.
Steve Parrish looking at his Revolut waiting for 35 million to go into it.
yeah.
I agree with Keith. I don't think there's going to be as much emphasis on Konate, given his French, not Scouse. But also as well, I watched a little bit of the French team when they arrive, and he's the French captain now, isn't he? So he's organising all these little bits and pieces for the French team, and he says to, I can't remember what player he says it to, but he's obviously a player that's at Roma, and he asks, "Are you looking after Tsimikas? Make sure you look after Tsimikas or something." So he's kind of like, do you know what I mean? I have it in my head. I don't know. I think he's giving it his all. I think he could very well sign a deal. Is it the right thing for him to sign a deal? Probably not on the money that he's asking for. But what's Shawty laughing at?
Don't know. I think he's laughing at something else that's going on there in his own world.
I don't think we should. I don't think we should bend to the money that he's asking for because of
there's an intruder in my house, lads.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, someone's breaking into the bedroom here.
All right.
But look, I'm up in the air. If he goes, he goes. I love him, but I just don't think it has as massive an impact on us if we get Guehi.
Yeah. I think
it'd
it's
be
actually
different.
Don Given with Paul McGrath's cans. That's it.
Someone dropping Paul McGrath's cans through Johnny's window. No, I agree with you. I think Liverpool will be in control of the situation either way. That's what I think it is. What else do we want to do? We better head because Jesus, we've been on an awful long time for stuff when there was no football on. We've had a lovely chat. We've had a lovely chat, yeah. Listen, if you want to join our Patreon, the little QR code is up on the screen if you want to scan it now. If you don't want to scan that, the link is in the description. Very good. We're getting very good feedback off it. I'm not going to lie. If you want to join it for a month, go ahead and join it for a month. And if you like it, stay on it. If you don't, come off it. We're not going to fall out with you. NordVPN is our sponsor for this show again. You know the rigmarole at this stage. You know how it works at this stage. You know we need to find sports and countries that you are not in and you can't get access to, or all that stuff. You can do it, all the security, all of the devices, all that messing. Great offers on NordVPN. The link is in the description there as well, and it helps us out. If you're looking for a VPN and you want one, use that because it helps us out. We're not going to lie. Anything else before we go, Keith? I'm leaving Shawnee to last because I'm hoping he's going to tell me a story. But anyway, Keith.
Just if people can all say a prayer for the Swiss tomorrow, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
and for
definitely
for Bertie Votes, Keegan's pocket, whatever the fuck his
Bertie's
name is.
up in Carrick-on-Shannon at the minute on a balcony looking into someone's backyard, and he's on a stag.
Panic rooms you can check into for the next 24 hours.
So yeah, a prayer for the Swiss tomorrow. If you can all put on your Stefan Schwab masks tomorrow, would be great. Have a towel around, all that sort of stuff. It would be fantastic. The reason we're asking you is because all of us are in a little betting group, and it's wild. It's basically we win money. Well, we don't.
Yeah, was Tina Turner Swiss, or did she just want to save a lot of money on tax? Because when she dies and they were saying she was Swiss, I was going, she's not fucking Swiss.
Is there a punchline to this?
No.
Genuinely feel like you're going to tell me, you're going to make me the butt you a joke here.
Which one of them? Tina Turner died last year, didn't she?
Did she?
She died in
23 years ago.
23.
Yeah, and why
Well, she did die in Switzerland. Yeah, she died in
Yeah,
Switzerland.
it was saying
She's American.
I said, if she switched, I'm fucking Nigerian. There's no way she's
She,
Swiss.
I'm looking at it. She got Swiss citizenship in 2013.
Oh, the
there
bank
you
account.
fucking
Love
told
it.
you. So
Solid work from Tina. Fair play to her. Solid work.
Jesus Christ, lad, you had me panicking there. I actually thought I was writing Tina Turner off there before she even died.
But anyway, the betting group we have, basically, we all put a few quid in every week, and we don't care if we win. All we really want is 10 of the lads to pick a winner, and then one lad not to, so we can spend a week abusing them. But it's down to Bertie tomorrow. He's in the chat there, and he says, I'm bricking it. And like genuinely, we're going to have the best day tomorrow, because we're either going to win a load of money or Bertie's getting it for a week, which is going to be fantastic. So on Bertie's behalf, and Keith, who's shown us support, he's rolling in behind him like party whip here, and he's saying, say a prayer for the Swiss. Me, Shawnee and Emma, we couldn't give a bollocks either way. I wouldn't mind the Benjamin Sesko equalising in the last minute. I'm not going to lie. Emma, anything else before we go?
No, all good. Pray for Bertie.
Pray for Bertie and the Swiss. Shawnee, anything else before we go?
No, again, just pray for Bertie.
No? Okay. Right. I gave you the opportunity and you've torn it down.
Right. Oh, no. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah. Gav gave me tickets for the golf. Right, and I gave him to a fellow I know. And he was fantastic. Fucking buzzing. He was fucking buzzing with it.
Last day of the Irish Open, Rory winning in a three-hole playoff, like, couldn't have been more drama. And I text Shawnee and I went, Jesus, your man got a fucking great day for that golf if he stayed to the end. And what did you text me back?
So did you know what the funny thing is, right? I never heard of anyone having to get a tetanus shot for the last forever. Like, you always hear
the fake thing.
Like the
so
TV
90s tetanus shots ahead.
Right, it's like the TV license, man. Like, everyone talks about them, but you never see them. Like, what does the tetanus even look like? What did he do? Where did he put it?
Yeah.
And I never heard of anyone having to get one before. And then in the space of 2 days, I actually heard of 2 people having to get them. So a lad I know, one of my best mates, we are walking in his gaff yesterday, and one of the other lads stood on a rusty nail, and blood started pouring out of his foot. And I was like, you're going to need to get a tetanus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wherever, that's grand. You should go to VHI Swift Care. No, he went straight to the mat or whatever. So then I gave tickets. This is no word of a lie, by the way. I gave tickets. Gav gave me tickets for the golf, and a lad out of my job was looking for them on Friday. And then the Microsoft Teams was pinging yesterday morning saying, does anyone have a touch on tickets? I said, you know what? One of the lads I know actually has one. So we rocked up to the K Club today.
2 tickets, final day, free of charge.
Him and his missus.
Him
and his missus. You can probably imagine where this is going. He was getting ready to go into the K Club, and a dog off the leash ran over and bit him in the leg.
We're laughing at this, by the way.
Right?
Poor chap.
Thankfully, he's all right, but broke the skin, right?
So he has to get
He broke the skin,
so
and he said, you're probably going to have to go get a tetanus. And he was like, I'm kind of like, do you reckon I can go and watch the golf? And they were like, no, you should probably go and get one now. And it ends up being one of the best finishes ever I did. And I actually texted him because I was heading out earlier and I seen it was going to like the final hole, and I was like, what's the story? He goes, you won't believe it.
But this is the thing. I text Shawnee.
He got bit by your dog.
I text Shawnee and I said, Jesus, I said, if your mate stayed to the end of that golf, he got some finish to that golf, didn't he? And Shawnee just wrote back, the cunt got bit by a dog going into the course. He's down in the VHI Swift clinic getting a tetanus. It's fucking fantastic. It's like one of those, where were you when they landed on the moon? Where were you when Rory won the Irish Open? I was in the VHI clinic.
Funny story.
Some dog on the K Club bit
I'd
me.
say I don't have a picture of him, but I'd say he was head to toe in all the fucking gear and all the Callaway gear. No doubt about it. Like a fucking agent down in Smithfield's VHI, but yeah.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, get well soon, Shawnee's mate. You can get the highlights of the Irish Open. They're up on YouTube now if you type in DP World Tour. And sit down there and relax and watch it. It was great. I watched it. So there you go. That has been the Talkin Kop for Sunday night. Thanks a million to Keith, Emma, Shawnee. I've been Gav. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Like, subscribe, comment, all the messing over everything. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.